All right. Hopefully, you can hear me all right, everybody. Check, check, check. Excuse me, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me. Hello and welcome to Guatemala. Well, this is my kitchen, but we're going to Guatemala. Yeah, we've got some fantastic photos of Guatemala. And hello. Oh, hey, look, we've got Lemon Pie in the chat. Hi, Lemon Pie. And Miss Catonic Madman. Hello. Welcome. Good to see you. And let's just make sure that we are good on YouTube. And I think we are. Oh yeah, okay, we're live on YouTube. That's fantastic. And I'll just welcome people to the chat. I did have a guest host co-host who was going to join us, but they're not able to join us tonight, so that's okay. But yeah, we've got a great chat already. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. And I'm just going to share this out. And hello, hi, Rod Thunderheart. Hello, welcome. And right here, it is about 20 after 10, just coming up on 20 after 10 at night. So welcome to you, Molecular Arts. And I think you're down in Tasmania, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so, geez, it's probably middle of the afternoon there, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just post that to X and see if we can get some more friends in here. But yeah, there we go. Done and done. And hello, I want to welcome. We got some more people joining the chat. Okay, yeah, 4/19 Friday. Yeah, okay, perfect. I want to welcome Outlaw Bill. Hello, and Hale, and FKHC. We got lots of Australians in the chat. This is wicked. Glad to see you here. And yeah, welcome everybody. So we're going to get right into it. Guatemala. Let's see if I can share this. Present, share screen. There we go. Is that it? That looks like it, right? Yeah, right there. Grab that and share that. Okay. So Guatemala is in Central America, and it is it's a fun place. I enjoyed it. Out of Central America, it's just below Mexico. It's easy to get to from Mexico. You just cross south. It's south of Mexico, so you just cross the southern Mexico border, and boom, you're into Guatemala. Belize is on the eastern border of it, and it's on the coast. Although some of Guatemala does touch I guess it's not the Caribbean there at that point. I guess it's the Atlantic. Well, no, it's still it's the Caribbean. Still, it is the Caribbean there. It's not the Gulf of Mexico. It's the Caribbean. So, yeah, it does touch the water parts of Guatemala. Just a little part right around Livingston, and that's got a very Afro-Caribbean flavor to it. But for tonight, I'm going to be concentrating on central Guatemala. Guatemala is going to need two. It's got to do two streams. Tikal, which is an incredible Mayan ruins site, and the Samuk Champe waterfalls, and that's up in northern Guatemala. That deserves a whole show to itself. And so right now we're just going to focus on central Guatemala. That's Guatemala City and Antigua, the colonial city of Antigua, and Lake Atitlan, and up in the highlands of Tenango and Chichicastenango is one of the highland villages right north of Guatemala City, and it's just fantastic. Lots of volcanoes, and yeah, it's really exciting. So, oh hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Arts, your team is a bunch of drug cheats. Oh, wow. Okay. What, some sort of sporting event, I see. I'm a Yankee who happens to like Aussie rules football. Oh, okay. I see. You are a Yankee. That's why it's 1:30 in the morning. I thought you were. Yeah. All right. There you go. Aussie rules football is a cool sport. I have seen it in person in Australia, and it was fantastic. Okay. Uh, Essendon. I don't even know where Essendon is. Huh. Anyway, excellent. Glad to have you here. And Dak Poet, hello and welcome. We're just talking about Guatemala. Doing great pronouncing all of this, Spidey. Thanks. I'm assuming you're kidding. Oh, hey, thanks, Rod. I appreciate that. That's in Melbourne. I was gonna say Melbourne. I was gonna say Melbourne. That would have been my guess, just because it sounds. Well, Melbourne is more cosmopolitan than any other city. I would say more upscale even than most of Sydney, and that just sounds like an upscale name. So I was gonna say Melbourne, honestly, believe me. But anyway, so yeah, we're just gonna look at central Guatemala and zoom into Guatemala City. There's not many to look at. I've got a couple of photos from Villanueva, which is it's almost a suburb, I'd say. And then where's the other? Mixco. Mixco is another part of it's basically part of Guatemala City. And then we go west to Lake Atitlan, and Panajachel is the town right there on the water there. And I went also to San Pedro Laguna, which that was nice because there was no cars, so it was really peaceful and tranquil. So I got some beautiful photos. And Lake Atitlan is surrounded by gorgeous volcanoes, so we've got some fantastic photos of that. And then up north in the highlands here, Chichicastenango and Chichicastenango, and also Huehuetenango. We'll get some photos up in there in that region. And then, Tikal and Coban, the ruins of Guatemala, is going to have to be another show. I mean, that's just so we'll do the lakes and volcanoes for this show. But thanks for being here, everyone. Let's get started. So we'll stop that. And hello, hey, William Shakespeare. Glad to see you here. Welcome. Glad to see you here. And Melbourne is Sydney's dowdy younger sister. I don't know. I like them both. I spent a lot of time in Sydney and a few weeks in Melbourne. I thought Melbourne was kind of more worldly, more upscale, honestly, than even Sydney. And William Shake Skeletor. You didn't miss anything. I was just showing Guatemala, and we're going to do central Guatemala, and then Tikal and Coban, which are the Mayan sites and the jungle ruins there. That's going to have to be another stream. But you must budget really well to be able to afford all this traveling. Absolutely, Dak Poet. I am not wealthy at all. I'm poor, actually. Been poor most of my life. But I backpack. I stay in hostels, which is... even if I was wealthy, I'd stay in hostels anyway. I take third-class buses. I don't take taxis. I walk everywhere. I flew into where did we fly into? We flew into Honduras, into Tegucigalpa at this point, and then took the bus around. So traveling by chicken bus, really cheap. Eating street food, really cheap. And I just save up money over, I try and work hard. I live very basic. I don't have a snowmobile. I don't have a motorcycle. I don't have a girlfriend. So I can live very cheaply, save up money, work hard. And then I spend, instead of spending my money on a fancy stereo or Netflix or motorcycle, I spend it on traveling. So yeah, I love it. So let's get into the photos, folks. Let's start off. I promised volcanoes, so let's see what you think of this. I've taken a lot of photos. I think I'm pretty good at it, but I'm certainly not a professional. But some of them turn out pretty nice, and so I'm happy with that one. Definitely happy with that one. So that's Guatemala, folks. Yeah, just active volcanoes. Guatemala is what I want to say 16 million people. Guatemala City is the biggest city in Central America, or it was at the time, and Guatemala City had over a million people. I think it's got 1.2 million, something like that. So it's over a million people, and biggest city in Central America. And Guatemala itself has got mountains. I thought it was gonna be warm because it's south of Mexico, and I was here in well, it was Christmas. Yeah, this was lead up to Christmas, just around Christmas time. And actually, you'll see from the photos, it was Christmas time. And I thought it was going to be warmer, but because it's in the mountains, a lot of it is at altitude. Unless you're right at the Caribbean on the coast or on the Pacific right on the coast, Guatemala is at altitude and it is cooler. It's Central America, yes, but I underestimated how cold it would be. And yeah, there you go, lemon pie. Guatemala mostly is mountainous or hilly. Yes, absolutely. What does the banner say behind you, Spidey? Oh, molecular arts. I think we know what that says, don't we? I think we know. My minor is politics. I do study political science, but yeah, you know what that sign says. Not a fan of him. He locked me down in my country for 2 years. I couldn't travel. Like that violates the Constitution and every. I mean, what other country locks their citizens in the country and won't let them leave the country? Oh, North Korea. That's the other country. Don't even get me started. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad you liked the photo. Let's get it back up here. Share screen. And that one. There we go. All right. Glad you like it. Love how all the clouds are forming, and that's a little opening. Yeah, it's really cool. It's like, yeah, and some of it looked like it was coming from the volcanoes. Some of that was volcano generated, or it looked like that to me anyway. So let's moving on. Oh, hang on. What's computer's doing funny things? There we go. So another thing, this is taken from the bus window. That's why the photo looks a little funny. But yeah, just beautiful markets. Guatemala had probably the best markets in Central America, in my opinion. Just fantastic. Just lots of color, lots of fresh food, and a variety of things, and just fun. They're just fun, you know. Yeah, just a lot of fun. And FKHC says, and getting the Aztec two-step royally from the street food. No, you know what? I've never gotten sick stomach, an upset stomach from any of the food I've eaten at any street food anywhere in the world. 22 or so second and third world underdeveloped, let's call them countries. And I've never gotten, the only time I've ever gotten sick was drinking the water in India. I had a sign that said drinking water in a train station. I think I've told this story. It didn't mean for white people, but yeah. Anyway, no, I didn't have any problem with the street food. You can see it being cooked and prepared, and people that cook badly, they don't last long, and locals don't support them. Word gets out. It's all about word of mouth in these markets, right? So. It is mostly mountainous, yes. Yes, and Lemon Pie says, mountains are beautiful. Most of my experience with mountains has been in Mexico. Guatemala, especially northern Guatemala, it looks similar to a lot of southern Mexico, oddly enough. Oh, you guessed, yeah. Yeah. What are those paints? Colored powders, and damned if I know what they're used for. I was on a bus, I was just driving past them and snapped the photo of the market. Stomach of iron. Yeah, molecular arts, possibly. I mean, I've exposed my stomach to street food and bacteria. Like I've eaten on, I've stayed in third world places, in third class places, in dirty places, eaten stuff off Literally dropped I told this story. I dropped the sausage on the train platform in Berlin and picked it right up off the train platform because the train was leaving. There was no food. This was all the food I had, and I ate it anyway. So yeah, I think I've been exposed to a lot of bacteria, and hey man, it builds up your immunity. I think I got sick from the water in Mexico, but not the food. Yeah, I believe it. Lemon pie. I got sick from the water in Cambodia. Yeah, I had bottled water, fortunately, in Cambodia. As much as I hate bottled water, when I travel, I do have to do that. Okay, so this is outside of Guatemala City is Antigua, and this is I believe this is Antigua, and it's just a colonial town, very famous. Lots of tour buses going in and out. There's tours that you can take if you're staying in Guatemala City. You can take a day trip to Antigua. It's 3 hours on the bus, and it's quite beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. See, there's Santas. These were piñatas. Guatemala is really big on homemade fireworks and homemade piñatas. They celebrate Easter and Christmas because they are mostly Christian and fairly religious. They go nuts with the fireworks and the piñatas. And I don't know why the number 7 is on. If anyone's from Guatemala and knows why the number 7, it's a lucky number, I believe. And why is Santa black? Again, I don't know. But if anyone knows any information on these on these piñatas, I'd love to know. Do they use the powder to dye cloth? Absolutely, they do. And I believe they also use them in some religious ceremonies. Yeah, I know they do that in India as well. So that's cool. Dak Poet says, my stomach is really sensitive. I had to be careful in places. Yeah, you would. Yeah, but that's possible. And fresh food, it's not processed. It's probably better than what most of us are eating right now. I swear to God, when I travel in Central America, you're eating fresh fruit. And it ripens on. That's the other thing. This stuff, it's not picked 2 weeks before it ripens and then sent on a boat or truck to Canada like we get here, and then it's ripened. No. It ripens on the trees, tastes better. The food is not processed. Yeah, they cook in grease and oil and parts, and I'm sure you can find stuff that's not healthy. But for the most part, they're eating healthier than us by far. And Rod Thunderheart says, wow. I love how piñatas are designed. Yeah. Hey, Rod, if you want to come up and co-host, no pressure. I understand, buddy. It's just if you want to, the door's open. Yeah. So glad. Yeah, really. The more I read about how processed food is hurting us, and I did hear a little bit about Robert F. Kennedy, and I know he's got some interesting ideas, and I don't agree with everything he says, but his take on processed foods and how it's affecting negatively the health of Americans, and the same could be true of Canadians. I agree. So fresh food, it's so good. It's the best part of traveling. Love how the piñatas are designed. I don't know why they're black, and I don't know why the number 7 is there. Again, I was on a bus. You actually drunk the tap water in Cuba? Yeah, I drink the tap water a lot of places I go, Rod Thunderheart, just to try and build my immunity up. And yeah, I didn't have a problem. Oh, Rod, okay, yeah, perfect, William. Yeah, I did ask you earlier, and that was that's what I was hoping. So let's do that. Nope, that's not it. Let's grab this here. And there you go, William. Delivered. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, so here, these are like I said, when I travel, I don't fly from city to city. I don't take the fancy, express buses. I take what's known as chicken buses. These are Guatemalan famous chicken buses. They're old American. They're school buses they bought from America, and they're designed to hold, I think, 2 children per bus seat. Yeah, They jam 4 adults to a seat with the various chickens and livestock in the middle of the buses, in the aisles, stuff on the roof. They're painted elaborately. They're decorated, as you'll see inside. They've got all kinds of banners. They try and attract people to their bus. So they try and make it fun, like come and have a ride on my bus, and they'll take you to the next town or far away, short distance, long distance. But this is with a volcano in the background and people selling food. Because I know there's a lot of travelers here, anyone selling food will come to these, and it's usually on the outskirts of town or maybe the middle of town. It'll be a bus depot. It'll be easy to get to. Everyone knows where it is, and in anywhere in Central America, it's all the same. A lot of places in the world, Asia is this very same, very similar. Thailand, for example. So yeah, you take these fun buses, and they're not comfy, I'll tell you that. Hello and welcome, William Shakespeare.
Hey, Spidey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I sure can. Thank you for joining. And yeah, molecular arts, sugar and salt, bad, definitely. Exactly. Yeah, have you heard of chicken buses? Or is this a new term? Have you seen images of chicken buses?
I've heard of chicken buses. Are they anything like the buses in Panama?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, similar. Decorated up to.
Oh, yeah. Massively. I mean, just painted all over. And the ones in Panama are just raging, not reggae music, salsa music.
Oh,
Raging
yeah.
salsa music all the way down the street.
100%. Yeah, same. Let me stop that and I'll share. I don't think I do have pictures of chicken buses, but I don't think I've grabbed one here. So I'll just show everyone. Yeah. No, where is it? Here it is, right there. So that's what a chicken bus is, folks. That is a chicken bus. They're elaborately decorated, and yeah, they're fun. They've got often custom horns, funky horns. Yeah, so that's cool.
Now, did you get in one of these and take a ride?
Yeah, I traveled all over Guatemala by bus. That's how I get around, over land, and it's cheaper. Long hours on a bus, let me tell you. It would be more comfortable to fly, but you wouldn't get to see the countryside as much, and you wouldn't get to meet the people. And let me tell you, if you take my trick was to take a little hip flask on of rum or whatever with me, and you'd make friends in the back of the bus pretty quick with the local farmers if you share a little bit of your alcohol with them, because it's a treat for them, of course.
Were these very, it sounds like they weren't terribly full.
Chicken buses are terribly full. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's the
Yeah.
ones I saw were like that too. I was
Yeah.
sitting thinking, how did you even get to the back of the bus?
Yeah, well, they make well, if you get there early and then you usually wait. They don't leave on a scheduled time. They leave when they're full.
Oh,
So,
okay.
because they want to make
Yeah,
as much money
right.
as they can, and so yeah, to make it worthwhile, they cram the thing as full as they possibly can. Yeah. Okay. Awesome, Rod. Yeah, come on if you can.
All right, Rod's coming
Chicken
up.
buses. Yeah, you got it. So these people, they all around the squares and the town areas where the central bus depot, let's call it. There's in America and Canada, we've got big buildings that are the bus depot, and you go inside and wait for the buses. And in a lot of towns, it's outside, and it's basically a big dirt parking lot. But around the edges are these places that make these ladies are making tacos, fresh tacos for you to take on the bus with little plastic bags and to go right there.
Oh, that looks so good. That's Panama is very similar in that way. I was on
Yeah,
a very long midnight bus ride for hours and hours, and in the middle of the night, it stopped off at the side of the road at some little outlet, and it was very open air and
that's
in the
it.
middle of nowhere. Yeah, and they had all homemade food there, and it was cheap, and
That's it.
it was great. Yeah.
Hello, Carla Burton and William Shakespeare. Do you mind reading this from our friend Miskatonic Madman?
Miskatonic Madman says, "Seatbelts? We don't need no stinking seatbelts."
Thanks, man. And hey, Sean Carter, welcome. He says, "Greetings, all. I'm about to take off, so I'll be on an airplane mode in a minute. But I wanted to say hi. Well, hey, hi and hello, and thanks for being here, Sean Carter. Welcome." And Carla, greeting everybody. Wow, look at all the wrenches in the chat. Holy shit.
Sean, just tell the pilot you have special privileges to leave your phone on normal mode.
That's
Tell
right.
him we said it's okay.
And what kind of a cheap ass plane can be taken down by a cell phone
I
signal?
know,
I don't want to
really,
be on any such plane. So this
seriously.
is, yeah, again, colonial buildings, gorgeous architecture in Guatemala because the Spanish occupied. I want to say into 1850s. 1851 rings a bell, or maybe it was 1821, but into the first half of the 1800s, Spain. Um, Sort of controlled Guatemala and did a lot of colonial infrastructure, a lot of beautiful buildings. I, I'm not advocating saying colonialism is a good thing, but the silver lining of Spain having a presence here is they did a lot of magnificent buildings, and a lot of them were government buildings owned sort of by the people for the people. So just gorgeous. And there's the Guatemalan flag up there. It's a beautiful color blue, actually. And there I am getting some street food. There you go. And see all the fresh greenery right there. It's all fresh veg. These ladies are just, for $3 you can fill your face with fresh food. Just amazing.
Guys, for any of you who haven't experienced this, that food is so good. You'll
Hmm.
eat until you're absolutely stuffed, and then you order another one to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
It really
Exactly.
is good.
Yep.
It's so incredible.
I love the good wholesome food there, and so here's a typical street. I do like to catch sort of pictures of I don't want to say rundown areas, but the local sort of, this is the local neighborhood houses, and they've got the wood supply there. I guess this guy's chopping wood and selling it all day long. Him and his wife would just sit there chopping wood and selling bundles of wood. And the cobblestone streets, I did enjoy the cobblestone streets in a lot of the colonial cities of Guatemala. And that again, this the Spanish, one thing they did was leave cobblestone roads, and those are pretty nice compared to some of the dirt goat tracks that you find elsewhere in Central America. So
I'm really going to preserve the ancient feeling of the place too. Just looking at it, it looks
yes,
really cool.
yes, exactly.
What's the
Oh
now?
yeah,
What do they
Sean.
use? What do they use all the wood for? Do you suppose? I mean, heating is going to be one thing, but I don't
Heating
know
and,
how
and
cold it
cooking,
gets there.
cooking,
Cooking, yeah,
cooking,
okay.
cooking. They all have little barbecues, and they start the fire usually by lighting a Coke bottle or burning plastic to get it going. Unfortunately,
Ooh,
sadly,
ouch! Right.
I know, I saw it all the time, and then they'd use that to start the wood on fire, and then they'd cook over the wood. But hey,
Mm.
Sean is on his way to Vegas. That's
Ooh,
awesome. Have fun,
Viva
and yeah,
Las Vegas!
exactly, have fun. Dak Poet says, "Love buildings with statue figures." Everyone's saying hello, and yeah, always bet on black, Sean Carter. Exactly, Miskatonic. Haven't seen you in a while. Have a safe trip. Everyone is saying hello and have fun. Good luck if you go gambling. Yes. Huh. Well, excellent. And yeah, I love historic buildings, uh, cities that have um, beautiful architecture and public statues. Um, yeah, they just grab my attention, and I love cities like that. And it seems that in cities, in my experience, cities that have public art and public spaces and try and make beautiful places for their citizens, the citizens are it works, I guess is my point. They seem to be happier and more relaxed, and I think it's a good thing. People do notice,
That was
and
the word I was gonna. That was the word that was coming to mind. Are they happier?
hello Caroline, hello and welcome. Hi.
There's definitely a sense of peace, especially if there's a park, within the city center that's near a lot of
Hmm.
people. People will walk by the park, walk through the park. A
Absolutely.
lot of birds come into the park.
Yep.
Again, here in places like this, just absolute tons of birds, especially in the morning. It can be deafeningly
Yep.
loud, actually.
Yeah.
But it's real pretty.
Yes.
It's super pretty.
Yep.
It's just it sounds like thousands. I don't know how many it is, but I remember that
Yeah.
in Panama again, that a hotel I was staying in David, in the north of Panama. We'd wake up in the
Oh, I
morning.
love David.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was right. We were
Or
staying at a place.
David, if you spell
Yeah,
David,
it's
but yeah.
right. And they
I
say
love David.
David, and there was a in the center of this. It's a very small city. In the center of the city, there's a park, and we were
Yes.
staying at
Yes.
a park. We were staying like across the street from the thing. And in the morning, it was with the windows shut. It was deafeningly loud. All the birds like screaming, "Hello,
Yes.
I'm here. I'm looking for some girls. Hello,
Yes.
all the ladies."
Right? Yeah, the birds are saying that, not you.
Oh man,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying that too, but
Yeah.
that was I wasn't quite.
I
saying.
stayed on the edge of that park. I know exactly in the town of David that square.
Yeah,
It's
you know what
got
I'm
lots
talking
of
about.
trees. It's got a
Oh yeah,
statue.
yeah,
I think it
yeah.
had a fountain, and it's not very big, but
Mm-mm.
it's big enough, and it's
Yeah.
surrounded by 2-story buildings. And we
Yeah,
had a
all around
hostel.
it.
The hostel was on a side street off of that park, and every morning I'd go and grab coffee, and because coffee in Panama is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
And especially in David, because it's in the highlands of Panama, and that's where the
Yeah.
coffee's grown, in Boquete.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not far
But
away.
Guatemala also had wonderful coffee, and I've got photos from a coffee shop that I went and met the owner and had a great time there. So this is the city of La Antigua, or I called it Antigua, but La Antigua in Guatemala. And you can see their coat of arms has mountains and volcanoes, and it's gorgeous. And I don't think, is that a unicorn or a griffin?
Absolutely a unicorn. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. That might be.
That's a coat. That's a cape. That's a cape.
Might be a
Okay.
cape, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But
Do you mind-
unicorn, griffin, whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. Whatever.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
Do you mind reading this from my friend Lemon Pie?
Lemon Pie says, it's really fascinating how Latin America is a marriage of two cultures, native and Spanish, or Portugal in Brazil.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And Carla Burton says, "Hey, Caroline, sorry I'm in and out of chat. About to drive the boys. All right, well, have fun, Carla, and good to have you here." And this is some of the street food, again, that I got from those lovely ladies. Enchiladas with the fresh guacamole. Avocados are a big thing in Guatemala. They grow a lot of avocados. And actually, there's I'll show you a little later, there's just on the outskirts of Guatemala, in the hillsides surrounding Guatemala, you can get up and go stay at something called the Earth Lodge. And it is a papaya farm in the hillsides of the volcanoes surrounding Guatemala City, and it overlooks Guatemala City, and you can see active volcanoes across, because Guatemala City sits in a valley, and you can look across the valley and see Guatemala City nestled in it, and see the volcanoes across on the other side of the valley. Earth Lodge is a gorgeous place to stay. It was about an hour outside of Guatemala City, an hour and a half. And you're staying on an avocado farm, and it's fantastic. You've got mountainside lodges with hammocks. No running water, but who cares? No, there was running water. We had hot showers. We did. No, it was fun. And street food, lots of street foods, tacos and enchiladas, and those are pickled onions. The purple are the pickled onions there.
Trying to look and see what was the temperature, what was the weather like, the temperature like. I'm trying to look for the elevation where you were.
That's the problem. Antigua and Lake Atitlan, they're at elevation. It was cooler than I thought. I was thinking Central America over, around Christmas time would be warm. It was like it was Celsius. It would have been teens. So that would have been like 60s Fahrenheit.
That is nice.
That little cool for me.
Well, the trade-off between that and sweating as soon as you get out of the shower, the coolness was probably quite welcome.
Oh, as a Canadian, I'll take the heat. I'm tired.
You take the heat. All right,
I'll take the heat.
Fair enough. It looks like you might have been. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Never mind. I'll try to find this here.
Yeah. So Dak Poet says, "I love Andalusian guitar music and African Caribbean music, Santana stuff." Absolutely, and there was a lot of that here.
Yeah,
absolutely. Andalusian, very nice use of the word. Now, does that derive from the Andes mountains? I think so, because
either that or it's Andalusia from Spain. Maybe they named
Oh,
it. Maybe they
yes,
named it after
yes.
Andalusia because that would have come first.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
And hey, excellent molecular arts. Good to have you here. And yeah, the Andes Mountains, they do run through Peru and Ecuador. I did get a chance to see the Andes in South America. That was fun. And there are volcanoes here in Guatemala, and we're going to get a good look at some of the volcanoes here. And Lemon Pie says, Dak Bowden, yes, you remind me, African culture, of course, too, had a big influence in Latin American. Absolutely. The Caribbean coast, Livingston is Guatemala's biggest town, I think, on the Caribbean coast. And it definitely has Afro-Caribbean vibe. Definitely more Afro-African Caribbean than Spanish or the Mayan influence. It was great. It was really interesting. Love pickled onions.
Found your elevation. Your Antigua is running at 1,530 meters.
Whoa, that is higher than Calgary. That is high. That is high. Shit, Whistler Mountain Ski Resort, the most famous ski resort in all of Canada. Its elevation at the peak is only 2,000, just under 2,000 meters, and this is 1,500. The town is at 1,500. That explains why it was called. See, that's higher than Midstation on Whistler. That's that's approaching the Roundhouse near the top of Whistler main village gondola. That's hey, Taylor Swift, welcome and hi. And speaking of volcanoes, that looks like one right there to me. And you could never tell if the clouds were a result of getting snagged upon the volcano or were they emanating from the volcano. You could never tell. You watch them and 1 minute you think it's the one and then you change your mind, you know?
I wonder, do you suppose that volcano at the peak ever gets any snow at all? I mean, it may be too central. It may be too central to the equator, but it's pretty high up there.
Yeah, because it was still in the teens. Yeah, maybe. You know what? Freak years, I betcha. Yeah, and so here we go. Here's Guatemala. This is the bus ride leaving Guatemala City. And I told you it was nestled in a valley. So here it is in the valley. Those are volcanoes on the other side. And we're back to Guatemala City here. Antigua, Lake Atitlan, Guatemala City, they're all within a day's drive of each other. And so we're driving up in the highlands here in the mountainsides to go to Earth Lodge, the avocado farm that you can stay at it's a hostel that I was telling you about. And just gorgeous views. And here I thought building the cobblestone, pedestrian roads here by hand. And just doing everything by hand. He's using that board, the 2x4 there. He's using, it's a rough 2x4. He's using that as a straight edge to make sure that the whole top of the sidewalk is basically level and straight. And I just love seeing construction being done without the whole advanced tools and so forth. You know, love that. Being in construction myself, I do enjoy that. And yeah, again, just gorgeous views. I think this is from the thumbnail from this stream, I believe. There you go. And do you mind reading? Nice. I've been talking too much. Do you mind reading this from Lemon Pie?
Lemon Pie says, I would rather be too warm than too cold, but I grew up in a warm climate. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's what when I was younger, I was in a warmer climate, Southern California, and moving up to the Northwest was a shock for a while. And so I know what you're saying. And then as I've been here longer, I've become more attuned to the cooler climate, even though I'm a pretty skinny person. I think you get attuned wherever you go, really.
That makes a difference, you know. When you're skinny, you feel the cold more. I guarantee. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Do, right? But so, you do get used to it. You do get used to it. I'm kind of surprised.
I don't want to. You can't make me.
Yeah, you're gonna make me.
I don't want to. You can't make me. So
I take cold showers. I take solid cold showers all the time. Regularly. So.
See, the water in Canada, the cold tap is actually fucking cold. You turn on the cold water here, you're going to go numb. The top of your head will go numb. You'll lose consciousness. Our cold water is cold.
But now,
Anyway,
aren't you guys the center of the polar bear club? Don't you guys
yeah,
have the
yeah,
matriarch of the polar bear
yeah.
club? You guys
Not this
jumping into the
guy.
fucking ocean?
Not this guy. I'm not into it. So this is the Earth Lodge, and they have these Adirondack chairs sitting out, and you can just look over the valley, and that's the view you get from those chairs in the avocado farm. And that, yeah,
Wow,
just yeah,
man, that's cool.
that was towards evening. Yeah,
That is so cool. Well,
and Dak,
you don't happen to have video of that, do you?
I was looking for video, and I don't think I took any videos in Guatemala. I can't. I'll have to. But I've got a master. I've got everything on a hard drive. So it's my main master file. So I can check there to see if I have any videos. But I couldn't find any off the hand. And hello, Rod. Welcome. Hi.
Good day, gentlemen.
Rod, gentlemen.
How you doing, William?
Cheers.
Rod, good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks,
Cheers,
man.
gentlemen. Yeah, so we're looking at some volcanoes, Rod.
Yeah, I see that. I've been following. Just been quiet, but following.
Yes. Yeah. And just gorgeous. I guess Guatemala has probably more volcanoes than anywhere I saw, except for maybe Nicaragua. But Spain and the Moors, yeah, they did have a big influence, Dak Poet.
What about Hawaii?
And Hawaii, yes. I haven't been to Hawaii. I'd love to go to... Oh, that's not true. I spent 4 hours in the airport on the way to Australia. So that doesn't count. I haven't been to Hawaii. I've been to the airport.
That's like me in Japan. I've been in Narita over a dozen times. And that's about it.
I have no idea what the most active volcano is in Guatemala. That's well, I can tell you they've got a couple of like national parks. That
Hey, I was
what is it? Santa Maria. Santa Maria is to the west of Lake Atitlan, and to the west of Guatemala City by quite a bit. So Santa Maria volcano is a big one, and I know they've got a park there. And volcano Atitlan. So I'm going to show you pictures of Lake Atitlan, which is sort of close to Antigua, a day trip from Guatemala City. But Lake Atitlan has Atitlan volcano. Sorry. So Atitlan volcano is there, and that's quite an active one. But there's a bunch.
By the way, you mentioned earlier that about the Spanish, basically took over Guatemala.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's right.
But did you know that they were unable to conquer Brazil?
I did. Yeah, I heard. You're ringing a bell, Rod. You're ringing a bell. Yes, I've heard.
Yeah.
Hey, Eugene Bird. Hello and welcome.
That's because I found. If you remember, I don't know if you've seen any of the Fast and Furious, but
I have. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you see Fast 5?
No, I saw the first two.
Oh, okay. In Fast 5, it's in Brazil, and filmed in there. Okay. And basically the main villain of the show, who, by the way, he reportedly has a son in Fast X, which who happens to turn out to be Jason Momoa.
Oh, but, yep. Yeah. I knew he was there.
But but getting back to the villain, he mentions that he said, now when the Spanish came to Brazil, they tried to conquer everyone, but when the Portuguese showed up, they came bearing gifts. Like they basically won them over with.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's smart. Do you mind reading this from our friend Eugene Bird, Rod, please?
Yeah. I never saw any snow in Central America. My wife flipped out the flipped out the first time she saw snow.
Yeah, she's from Honduras, I believe Eugene Bird said. And do you see this volcano in the picture, Rod? That is not a cloud. I watched that. That is smoke coming from that volcano.
Yeah.
I watched it for 20 minutes to make sure that was smoke coming from the volcano. And Lemon. Yes.
I have your answer to the most active volcano in Guatemala.
Ooh,
Go ahead and finish your thought. I just want to make sure we talk about this before we move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to say lemon pie is lemon pie. Eugene's wife is from Honduras, I believe. And yeah, as he confirms. And everyone's saying hello. And what made me choose to visit Guatemala, Eugene? I wanted to do all of Central America. I've always wanted to. I had always wanted to start in the north or the south and just do the whole thing all the way, all of Central America from Mexico down to Panama. So that's what I did with me and my fiance at the time. We started in the north and we went down every country. I think it took us 3-4 months to go to Panama, but it was great. I think it was 3 months. Sorry, go ahead, William. What's the most active volcano in Guatemala?
Okay, here it goes. The most active volcano in Guatemala, based on recent activity and historical data up to October 2024, is Volcán de Fuego. It is renowned for its frequent eruptions and has been described as one of the most active volcanoes in Central America, and indeed one of the most active in the world. Volcán de Fuego has experienced continuous activity with significant eruptions noted multiple times over the past years, including events that have captured widespread attention due to their visibility and impact, such as lightning strikes during eruptions, as shared on social platforms. And I have seen that actually on X in the last couple of weeks. I've seen photos of that.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so that is the Volcán Fuego. I just looked at on the map. This is Lake Atitlan, which is west of Guatemala City, 3-hour drive. So that volcano is halfway between Lake Atitlan and Guatemala City, just to the south a little bit. So that's okay. That's scary. That's kind of close to Guatemala City, the biggest city in all of Central America. That's interesting. Thanks for looking that up, William. And again, just the views from the Earth Lodge over that's Guatemala City down there in the valley, and just this is from on the hillside surrounding it, and with volcanoes. And there's an avocado. See, that's if you wonder what avocados look like on a tree, that's what they look like on a tree.
So they're growing pretty plentiful there. It sounds like probably fairly cheap then, inexpensive. I mean.
Yes. Yeah. I did. I did buy a couple. Yeah, they were cheap. They were. Everything was cheap. And do you mind reading this, William?
Miskatonic says, when I was a kid, every New Year's Day, the Polar Bears Club went out and jumped into the drink. It's madness, I say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, these crazy bastards. You see these these guys on TV? They're nuts.
Yeah. That's a bit chilly for me, Doc Poet in Florida. Oh, Miskatonic Madman. Okay, the polar bear. Yeah, we figured you meant bear, buddy. You don't have to. Yeah, we're not retarded. We'll figure it out. Mm-hmm.
The Buzzards Club.
Yes, exactly. And it's similar temp here in South Carolina, says Caroline. It's nice to have a break from the heat. Yeah, I've got the wood stove going right beside me. I can touch it. It's going down to freezing temperature. It's going down to the freezing point tonight, Rod. I had to harvest all my tomatoes this morning because it's freezing tonight.
Jesus. I better hurry up and get my spuds up.
Yeah. Do you mind reading this, Rod?
Yeah. There's not much difference, lemon pie. Countries are the size countries are the size of small, medium stated down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he mean states?
Yeah, I think so.
U.S. states or something? Maybe means states.
Yeah, in Central America, a lot of the countries are smaller than Texas for sure.
Yeah,
that is cool. And Rod, if you, I didn't until I saw this, I didn't realize that avocados grew like this on trees. if you ever get a chance to see what's known, I saw it in Western Australia in Perth. Perth has a King's Park high up on a hill overlooking the city, and in King's Park, it's a botanical garden, and they have what they have an example of a cannonball tree, and it looks just like this, except instead of avocados hanging down on the end of branches, are little cannonball shaped. They look like almost coconuts, but cannonball size. They look like cannonballs, and they hang that. It reminds me of that. But yeah, those are kind of cool. And avocados, yeah, they weren't, unfortunately, when we were there, they weren't ripe yet. So we couldn't pick them off the trees. But
it looks like a piñata.
It does. And that was the food we were given. So tortillas just as a side. You always get guac and tortillas on the side, heated up, usually handmade. And just, chicken in some gravy with rice, lots of rice, and corn. Corn was a big thing in Guatemala.
Did you ever sense particles of rock in any of the food, especially the cornmeal, the tortillas, anything like that? All right.
From the mortar and pestle?
Right. From how they would have mashed it up, possibly. Depending if they would use old tools, it would have been made out of rock, I think. Various types of rock. I'm just curious as to
now that you mention it,
cleansed down. Yeah, cleansed down. I mean, hopefully there's not. I'm hoping that you would say no. Yeah. I never experienced that.
I never have. No. And look, these are all the hot peppers, Rod. Imagine how spicy all those hot peppers are. The markets are just amazing. You can get any kind of hot pepper you want at the markets. Just street markets were amazing. And yeah, okay. There you go, Rod. Lemon Pie is sort of agreeing with you, saying the Spanish, the Portuguese made an agreement with the Spanish that Brazil is theirs. See, the Portuguese were businessmen. They weren't, or business people. Mm-hmm. They weren't.
Yeah.
Well, they were all men. Yeah, there was probably very few ladies on that sailboat, or if they were very not happy. Yeah. Rod, do you mind reading this from our friend Eugene?
Yeah, Eugene Bird says, I heard the Pope divided by latitude which places Portugal and Spain would take over, and Brazil was on the east, the Portuguese side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd heard. Yeah, maybe I'd heard of that. Yeah. Yes, of course. And Portuguese is the primary language in Brazil. That is true. And I was able to understand it because it was close enough to Spanish that I could sort of get by. But yeah, love avocados. Yeah, I know Eugene Bird. I'd never seen avocados in the wild either. And that was. So this is, again, you can see the chicken buses leaving the town. This is a pedestrian bridge that I climbed up onto to get a good shot of, just the town and the buses leaving. And there, yeah. So this little kid, he was selling, this is cut up fruit on sticks in a bag. And he was going around from bus to bus, selling, hopping on the bus, hopping on, like literally hopping on the back of the bus, riding around, hopping off and selling fruit on a stick hanging from his waist. And this is how he would get around. He didn't have to pay, I don't think. He would just, because he's kind of doing a service to the passengers, providing food. So I never saw him exchange money with the drivers, but he would just hop on the back of the friggin' bus and go around selling food. And we're in traffic, like we're driving, by the way.
Hey,
I'm in this photo is, I'm in the bus behind this guy. He's on the back of the bus ahead of us is what this photo is. We're in a little van, I guess. But yeah. Oh, PvP's here. Oh, yeah. I'm doing a horrible job of the chat. Hello. Just cooking supper, he says. Yes. Yeah. 11 o'clock at night. That's usually by the time I get around to it. Me too, PvP. PvP says, I've heard that lemons are tasty if squeezed onto hot peppers. Yep. I'll try anything. As long as it's fresh. Love hot peppers, says Lemon Pie. And William Shakespeare-Berg, do you mind reading this from our friend Caroline?
Caroline says, my go-to recipe for guacamole involves squeezing fresh orange juice into it. It adds the nice sweet tang to it.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Yes, I do have a wood stove, Doc Poet. It is, oh shit. It's right there. There's the wood stove. And yeah, it heats the whole house. I cook on it all the time. I barely turn on the stove. I just cook. If you've got the time and you don't have to, like, so I'm not doing a 9 to 5 job, so I don't have to be anywhere at any time. So I got time. I just cook on the wood stove. Yeah, and it keeps everything. It keeps in the morning when I'm watching YouTube and seeing how many stupid things Trudeau has done over the last day. I'll set my coffee while I'm watching some of the news programs. I'll just set my coffee on the wood stove. Every time I set it down, put it on the wood stove. Put it on the wood stove, and it stays warm like all morning. It's fantastic. And what is avocados do grow well in volcanic soil? You got that right, Carla Burton. Rod, do you mind reading this from our friend Lemon Pie?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Avocado Accord of 1624 set up avocados west of the line go to Spain, east to Portugal. Oh, okay, I made that up.
And what do you mean? Avocado is good for wrinkles? Is that true, Rod? I didn't know.
Actually, I think it is.
Yeah, avocados are a superfood. I believe that. So yeah, this kid was. Yeah, here's the photo of us in the van, and the kid's just doing his job, driving around. So I guess he goes to school in the morning, but a lot of these kids, they go to school until they're like 12 years old, and after the age of 12, they're out working.
Wow.
trying to earn a living. Well, I'm not opposed to that, Rod. I think a lot of our kids in our society would do well. Learn everything you need to know, reading and writing, up in history, up to
I
the age
agree.
of 12. And then get them out working with their fathers or working with their uncles or their mothers or working.
Dude, I agree. And as a matter of fact,
I love that.
In I think Norway. Anyway, the Scandi countries.
Oh yeah.
They've switched to 10 till 3 daily. Actually, I think it might even be 2 for like for schools.
Oh
which gives kids way more time in the daytime.
Yep, to
like
be out
free time. I mean,
yep, to be out learning. And yeah, so around these towns in the evenings, again, people would set up on the streets, in the cobblestone streets or in the sidewalks. They'd set up these little carts and cook food, and they'd have little plastic tables and chairs and maybe a tarp, and they'd just cook delicious hot food right on the street into the wee hours, and it was a blast. And it's a social thing. The night markets are a social thing, Okay, so this is the fella. Cool. This is the coffee guy. This is the coffee guy. His name is Mike, and his coffee shop is right on Lake Atitlan, right on the lake, a block from the water. It's called Crossroads Cafe, and if you go in and say hi to Mike, he's from Seattle. His daughter loves the Vancouver Canucks, so that's why we were taking a photo. He saw my shirt, and he told me all about. He pulled me right in. We got along great, and he told me about the coffee making process. And he used to have a farm and grow it, but because coffee is such a valuable commodity, he got out of it when it became too dangerous from like robberies, and you needed to have armed security guards. And so now he just runs a coffee shop. But
wow,
Crossroads Cafe, and delicious coffee. And he told me, the different roasting processes. And if you can get some of the big companies, they spray chemicals on their coffee beans to make them mature all at the same time, so they can do one massive harvest. Normally, coffee beans, they go harvest them every 2 weeks, because some of the beans ripen at different times. And so you go harvest the ones that are ripe, and then 2 weeks later harvest the other ones that are ripe. But if they spray them with chemicals, they all ripen the same time. that leaves a bitterness or a chemical taste on the bean. So that's why some of the companies really roast the shit out of the coffee and almost give it a burnt flavor, like a dark roast to hide the chemical flavor. But it was fascinating talking to this guy. And coffee, Guatemala has an incredible coffee culture and delicious coffee.
I am a big fan of Brazilian coffee and Cuban coffee.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of all coffee.
And there's
Spidey, hold on. Spidey, hang on a minute, Spidey. Did they separate the chemical coffee from? Did they have an organic coffee down there? Was that not a thing? You remember?
It absolutely was. Actually, in just north of David in Panama, there's a town called Boquete, and it's famous for coffee. And I went Boquete, you know the town I'm talking about. And it's high up in the mountains, and it's got the quetzal bird up there somewhere. And I went and did a coffee plantation tour. Yeah, that's the one. Yes. And on the tour, this guy had been doing it he was the fifth generation in his family to be doing it, and they didn't use any pesticides at all, and they went out and they harvested the beans every 2 weeks. It was very manually intensive, but and he sold his coffee on the market. So there is a good way. Get a light roast. If you're just lightly roasting the beans, you're not going to be able to hide the flavors of any chemicals that are on there too well. So if I prefer a light roast anyway, and I think it's going to be a lot harder to mask any suspicious flavors. Oh, Rod just duck of death, but he'll pop back in, folks. So this is Lake Atitlan. Yeah, that's my opinion. So this is the town of Panajachel, and that is right in the northern side, the north side of Lake Atitlan, and across on the south side is Volcano Atitlan. This is Lake Atitlan and Volcano Atitlan. And you can sort of see the water this is the Cobblestone Street going down to the water from the coffee shop, the Crossroads coffee shop there. And a quaint little town. There was a few cars in this town, but if you take a boat, I took a boat to the town on the other side of the lake. And there's lots of boats going across, and stayed there. And there was no cars in that town. It was just a pedestrian town, and it was so peaceful and tranquil compared to much of Central America. It was such, like, if you're looking to get rid of the hustle and bustle and traffic of Central America, you go to Lake Atitlan, you take a boat across the other side, and you go to where there are no cars. And I spent a couple of days there. It was just really relaxing. Hey, Rod, I knew you'd come back.
Sorry about that.
That's quite all right. Do you mind reading this from our friend Molecular Arts?
No. Molecular Arts, if you don't mind me asking, what sort of work do you do to save money for travels, buddy?
Okay, Molecular Arts, yeah. Well, I don't make a lot of money, I'll tell you that. So it's mostly by being frugal. But I do construction work. I had a bit of Zamboni driving work a little while ago. And while I was doing these trips, I was working in Whistler Ski Resort as assistant chief engineer for a maintenance crew, a 10-man maintenance crew for 3 hotels in Whistler. So again, not making a lot of money, but just really saving, just not spending a lot of money. I don't have a lot of expensive habits, other than drinking alcohol, of course, trying to cut down. It's not easy.
Yeah, you and me both, brother.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding, Rod. Avocados are wrinkly on the tree. Yes. Okay, I get you, Dak Poet. Yeah, they are, actually. You're right. And is that... I can't see your avatar. Oh, that looks like a kitty, Dak Poet. That's awesome. Yeah, that is a nice little kitty there. Oh, okay, the avocados are wrinkly, yes. Well, who knows? I thought it was good for wrinkles, too. Maybe it is. PvP smears avocado's face say looking like he's 25. Yes. Yeah. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you liked the night photos, Dak Poet. And definitely. The Canucks are off to a bad season. Yeah, well, they did. Yeah, I'm not surprised. What kind of chemicals? I don't know. Whatever chemicals cause coffee beans to mature at an unnatural time. Light roasted coffee tends to have more caffeine, Miskatonic. That is correct. Yes. That is also my understanding. No, Eugene Bird. No, that's CSM knows so much more than I do about Central America. I lived there for years. Cool. I don't. I don't know about that, Eugene. But I am fascinated with travel, and I studied cultural anthropology, and I try and soak up as much as I can. And ooh, pesticides. Yeah, you're right, William Shake Skeletor. Pesticides.
No, I'm retracting that. I'm retracting that comment. I just did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to find out, because I was thinking of bugs, and then I didn't realize. Yeah, you're talking about maturing process. So I'm gonna give me a minute. Let me see if I can find this out. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Quaint, small, little towns. Yeah, this is a beautiful one. And do you mind reading this, Rod, from our friend Lemon?
Yeah, Lemon Pie says cars are very convenient, but I envy people who don't rely on them. Oh man, me too. I know, absolutely. You know, a good buddy of mine, he actually he's got a roommate, and this guy, he spent. I'm not kidding. He spent about I'm going to say $4,000 on a scooter.
Okay, yeah.
And it goes, I'm not kidding. This thing actually goes like 90 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
It's got a seat. It's got lights.
Yeah. Scooters are fun as long as your friends don't see you on one.
Yep.
So yeah, this is Lake Atitlan. Lake Atitlan. It is famous in Guatemala. It's pretty much in the center, I guess.
Hey, Suzanne Eckstein.
And it's surrounded by volcanoes. I believe it's got 3 volcanoes that you can see from the lake, if memory serves. And it was just really scenic and peaceful. Oh my God, was it peaceful? And oh hey, Dak Poet. Says, I admire people that can do that kind of work because I can't do that type of work. Well, let me tell you, after I'm 52 and after doing construction and that maintenance for 35 plus years, I'm now taking, Rod, I don't know if I told you, I'm taking an accounting course through in Kelowna here at Okanagan Community College.
Nice.
I want to be an accountant. I want to work with my brain and not do maintenance and construction. It's hard, man. It's hard on your body.
All right,
yeah,
Spidey.
but on the other see, that's why I love my job. You know. I told you, right? I got a new job.
Yes, you did. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they pay weekly.
Hi, Suzanne. Oh, that is beautiful. That is nice, Rod.
Yeah. The only thing is that it takes about a month. Karen told me at work. The only problem is that getting paid weekly, you know, checks are smaller.
That's true.
But on the other hand, it is nice. You know, like it is nice that every Friday is payday.
No kidding. Every Friday is definitely a reason to be happy. I have no idea what kind of flower this is, by the way, chat. I just thought it was beautiful. And William, sorry, did you come up with an answer for what the might be spraying on the coffee beans?
I did.
Uh-oh. Do we want to know?
Sure. Okay, this is a big answer. I'm going to try to whittle this down.
Please.
So I have to whittle while I'm reading. So please forgive if I backtrack.
Sure. And I'll just show Lake Atitlan.
There you go. The process of speeding up maturation, it primarily involves agricultural rather than chemicals, they say. But there are a few ways that they can do it with chemicals. Ethylene is one. They say this is this is a natural plant hormone that can be used to speed up the ripening process of many fruits. Growth regulators are a synthetic growth application. For instance, gibberellians can promote growth and might be used to enhance plant development. Fertilizers, they can help to do this for to increase to speed up ripening. High nitrogen fertilizers.
Okay,
Biostimulants, substances of microorganisms applied to plants with the aim of to enhance nutrition efficiency. And then pruning and stumping, which is, I think this is not a chemical method, but this is going to be, one of their
agricultural,
right, to do it. Here's the clincher, though, as you said at the very bottom. Using chemicals to directly speed up the maturation of coffee beans post-harvest. So they're saying post-harvest isn't typical or recommended, as it can adversely affect the taste and quality of the coffee.
Right. Yeah. And
you said.
And this 5th generation coffee farmer in Boquete said that when you do it even in the last couple of weeks before harvest, in order to harvest at the same time,
in order to get it,
he said it leaves a taste. And I believe him. So, I thought it was cool. They still do everything by hand, 5th generation, and I thought that was. And he had quite a few acres. It was a decent sized farm.
It's interesting. Now I'm going to have to try. I'm going to want to try some cut beans or some ground up beans that are organic versus ones that are not organic side by side, and see if I can tell.
That would do a video of it or something if you can. And see you later, PvP.
Yeah, that would be fascinating.
Yeah, and hello, Suzanne. Welcome to you and Daniel's Hot Topics. Hi. He said he went 2 kilometers an hour. Daniel's Hot Topics says. That's awesome. Yeah, it's going good. And Rod, do you mind reading this? Dak Poet is explaining the cat in her avatar.
Yeah, Dak Poet says, yes, my Siamese mixed cat, lovely Lola Grace Cohen. Kind of like my brother-in-law, Christopher Mark David Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
Four names, I mean. I got her at a rescue place. Rescues are always the best cats. That's the first day I got her. She had 6 kittens before I got her. She's a retired mama kitty. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Buster was a rescue.
Nice. And there was a question up here. Hey, Buster. Hi.
Yeah, he was a rescue, but wasn't really so much a rescue as
like Buster.
Well, the neighbors were going to send him to the send him to the little kitty place in the sky.
Yeah, that's I like it.
And and they were just kind of like, neighbors are just kind of like, well, sorry, we just, if you don't take them, then we'll probably have to. Well,
yeah, no, I'm glad you took him, Rod.
Yeah.
And Eugene Bird, do I remember what I ate from the street vendors? Yes, in Guatemala, a lot of the tortillas. Every meal you'd get a plate of tortillas, warm tortillas. But I'd get the enchiladas or tacos or chicken. Just chicken and rice was really common, or pork and rice and beans. A lot of rice and beans together, corn. And fruit. Oh my goodness. Yeah. A lot of fruit from street vendors was fantastic. And this is one of the besides Tikal, which is the Mayan ruins site that I'm going to do part 2 of sometime when I do part 2 of Guatemala. This is next to that. This is probably one of the most scenic spot in all of Guatemala, Lake Atitlan. And I don't know if you guys have been looking at the pictures, but just the volcanoes around this lake are just spectacular.
Wow.
And that's believe it or not, an omelet with ham and cheese omelet. And then the other one I think was a BLT for breakfast with fresh fruit. delicious, fresh
Hey,
ingredients.
actually, yeah, I remember seeing omelets in Cuba that were I thought they were burritos, but yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no kidding. That's awesome. I love that.
yeah.
And yeah, I just love this photo. I'm really happy this photo turned out well. Just gorgeous at night. And Rod, when I took the boat across Lake Atitlan and stayed at that little town, um, San Pedro Laguna, it's called,
Hmm.
and San Pedro of the lake, I guess. And it has no cars, and it was peaceful. And I got a little hostel room right next to the lake, and and I was falling asleep listening to the waves lap up against the shore
Huh.
of the lake,
Nice.
and slap up against the sides of the boat, because you can hear it. In a lake, when you can hear the waves slapping against the
Yeah.
sides of boats, and that's what we went to sleep with, man. And it was gorgeous. So if you go to Guatemala, Lake Atitlan, it's in the center west, and it was just relaxing, man, and scenic. These are some of the most beautiful photos I have. And the boats were cool. Lots of fishing, and easy to hire a boat for cheap to go around the lake. Or they had scheduled water taxis that operated on a schedule that you could go, that weren't expensive.
Hmm.
But yeah, just a really nice, one of the more impressive lakes in Central America, actually, Lake Atitlan. Yeah, there you go. That's one of the cobblestone roads leading right down to the lake. And you recognize these little tuk-tuk, don't you, William Shakespeare or Shake Skeletor? The tuk-tuk, little three-wheeled vehicles, famous in Thailand.
Yeah, and from India, actually,
And
is
from
where I remember
India.
them from. Yeah,
That's
I
why I
mean,
was, yeah.
yeah, those they look like the India ones to me.
Yep, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
the little
Yeah.
tuk-tuks. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cuba had the cocoa taxis, right, Rod? Am I
That's right.
mistaken? Or
Yeah.
I'm not misremembering that, am I?
No.
Yeah, the
Yeah, and
taxis.
also uh, James Bond with the one of my favorite movies, James Bond Octopussy, the rocket tuk tuks.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
his was
Thanks, Carla. Yes, a
no
rocket
problem.
tuk.
This is a company car.
Okay, and see, this is what I was talking about, is the chicken buses. And actually, this one wasn't crammed full. There was quite a lot of room in this one. And Guatemalans, no offense to any Guatemalans watching, but in general, it is a fact, they do tend to be very stocky, physically, like a wide people. And so, I mean, they're shorter. I was actually pretty tall there, even at 5'6". I was one of the taller. I was at average height, I'm sure, for a Guatemalan man. But they're very stocky. They're very, like, a wide, stocky people, and so you get three of them on a school bus across the seat. There's not a lot of room, but this one is not too crowded. But they make it fun. They want to attract customers and riders on their buses, so they make it look like it's fun to ride on this bus, on their bus. So they put balloons, and yeah, it was fun. Damn it.
Huh.
Adopt, don't shop. Exactly, Lemon Pie. The cat
Yeah,
shelters, the doggy
absolutely.
shelters. You got that, Lemon. I'm glad too. And do you mind reading this, Rod?
Yeah, sure. Lemon Pie says, which means adopt rescues who need homes instead of shopping breeders. Oh, absolutely. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neat quotes in that.
You
I'm
know,
glad
too,
you
like,
liked it, Doc Poet.
I just wanted to just a quick mention. I couldn't possibly go to a shelter because I want to take them all home with me.
That's the problem, Rod. Good night,
Yeah.
Caroline. Good night. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Night, Caroline.
I did. I volunteered and did the roof of a dog shelter in St. John, New Brunswick, and it was hard. Yeah, I was there for a day doing the roof, and I'll tell you, I wanted to adopt every one of those dogs. So this is again one of the suburbs around Guatemala City, and it's
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it could be. what is the
Barrios.
yeah, it's one of the barrios like Villa Nueva, perhaps in
Right.
Guatemala City, one of the barrios of Guatemala City. But just they build right into the mountainsides, and it's actually quite pretty. If you fly into it, into the airport you get a really beautiful view of the homes built right on in the hillsides. And here's the markets, outdoor markets, and just lots of plastic chairs, lots of seating, but it's basic. I mean, don't expect any posh, fancy. It's an outdoor market, folks. And good night, Caroline. As I said, yeah, well, the food was good in Guatemala. I gotta say, Daniels and Miskatonic. Sorry, Eugene. I'm making them all hungry. Lemon pie is also hungry. Laguna is lagoon. I think it means lake, Eugene Bird, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, okay. I can see that I would say Laguna, but Lago is lake. Laguna is lagoon, right? Okay. Well, there's lagoons around lakes. That makes sense, unless the developers bastards drain all the lagoons and build condos and kill all the ducks, right? That happens around Whistler, especially. The lake looks beautiful with the mountains all around it. It was lemon pie. It really was. Tijuana equals Aunt Jane. Ah, interesting, Eugene Bird. Of course, yeah, your Spanish is fluent, no doubt. Aunt Jane. Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Oh, wow.
No, neither did I.
Yeah,
and William,
that's wild.
Do you mind reading this from our friend Daniel?
Daniel's Hot Topic says, I remember when I was in Veradero, Cuba, I was at the hotel. I went to the kitchen every morning and I ate lots of Cuban omelet. They were so good and the people were super friendly.
Yep, no doubt.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, you're were you, in Veradero? Which what was the resort? And I'm gonna say we stayed at I believe it was called. My brother and I we stayed at what was the place called? Secrets. Oh no, wait, no, that was.
I've
Was
heard
it
of
Secrets?
I've seen Secrets there. And hello, Parrothead. Welcome. Hello.
But they have since changed brands, and now they are called beaches. Cactus Beaches, I think.
Oh, I've heard of Beaches Resorts. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was sort of a made with eggs. It was sort of like a breakfast pizza that she had going on there. And I also like this photo because the little girl has a cool looking poncho in the background there.
Oh.
But yeah, that's a beautiful food vendor at the market. Everything's fresh again. And I think these are a form of churro, which are popular in Mexico, which is basically fried donuts. Yeah, gorgeous. And these ladies were just pumping out the donuts at this market. And this was in Chichicastenango. In the highlands northwest of Guatemala City. And just fantastic. Again, a colonial town and a village, really a mountain village. And with the church, of course, in the town square and night markets. And it was just everyone, like kids and families and old people coming together at night. And this is build up to Christmas. This is like a week before Christmas. Just in the town square, just getting together and enjoying food in a. Oh dear! Do you want to read this, Rod?
Sure. Daniel's Hot Topics states that they stopped selling puppies at pet stores. They shut down the puppy mills. Yeah, puppy mills, because puppy mills are forcing the female dogs to give birth. I heard.
Yep, true story. Oh, And you're looking for a Shih Tzu puppy, a companion for your little Coco. And I have a search where they're selling them. Yeah, Shih Tzus are kind of cool. My grandmother had 2 of them. And as a kid, I just enjoyed saying the name of the dog, Shih Tzu. Right?
Yeah. They're cute too.
See,
They're
now,
super cute.
they were. They were.
cute, yeah.
They're not a mean bone in their body either.
No.
But see, William and Rod, see, these guys, they're out. It's a communal event. People are out. They're neighbors. They're friends. They're cooking food into the evenings. It's giving the people something to do. And you know what? None of these people were government inspected or regulated. I didn't see any food inspectors walking around.
I know.
No one.
Wow. Like, yeah, you don't see that up here.
They're just trying to make a buck. They're just trying, and they're not. Obviously, they're going to make good food that's good for their customers. Otherwise, they're not going to have much of a business.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make a living, and you see that a lot in Mexico and in Central America, even in Asia. Just people trying to make a buck. And food is a good way to do it. And hello, West Kegel. Hail to the great white north. Ooh, lukuku. True patriot love in all of us command. You got that right, buddy.
Spidey, did you kind of were you mentally aware of how much you were spending on food on a daily basis?
I was, yeah. Like I said, I tend to be pretty frugal, and I've got a budget. But hotels and hostels were anywhere from as low as $5 to $20, depending on the town you were in, and smaller towns being cheaper, of course. And food, you could go into a restaurant and order a nice meal and blow $30, no problem. But street food like this was generally $4, $5, $6, $7 for a meal.
Wow.
Yeah, and filling, and just snacks. We were always snacking because it's in Central America. People are always trying to do a side hustle, and so people are always selling little snacks, selling foods around bus depots or on the buses or in around hostels or on the streets at tourist places. So there's lots of little snacks that are available, and you can pick those up for less than $1, and you'll stay well fed.
Yeah, I gotta say too. I mean, like in Cuba, the paladars, the restaurants out of people's houses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
You could spend $7-8 there and be just absolutely stuffed.
That's right. And this is all fresh food. Look at this.
Yeah. There's no. Yeah, exactly. And Cuba, like this place, Guatemala, Cuba and Guatemala, you're absolutely right. It's fresh food. Like it's the food in Cuba is growing on the street.
Yeah.
Then they turn around and sell them to the paladars, and you get absolutely fresh food.
This guy's doing chopped cabbage and onions and mushrooms and pork on the side there, and he's just chopping it all up, frying it up, and it's all fresh. And Rod, do you mind reading this from our friend Daniel?
Oh yeah, sure. Daniel's Hot Topics it was back in summer 1998 and never got the name of the resort. I got to ask my mom and dad. I hope they remember.
And yeah, there you go.
And I wanted to mention too, that
was $2.
People, the food is so fresh that reportedly, just look it up. But people have lost their food allergies.
Yes, I've heard, talking with backpackers, I've heard of when they're traveling, they're healthier because they're eating fresher when they eat at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And less stress usually if you're not working a 9 to 5 job. I mean, there are people that stress out when they backpack, and because they don't like sort of going.
They don't like to walk.
Their pants, and they don't, and seat of their pants. Often, you gotta you can't plan too far ahead, but But no, this food, that particular meal was about $2, and the currency in Guatemala is the quetzal, and I have some actually here with me. But
Nice.
yeah, and this, if you go to the Canadian Spider-Man YouTube channel homepage, this is the photo, the banner above.
Nice.
So it's taken from this very photo. If you go to my homepage, yeah, feel free to subscribe to the channel, folks, and you'll see photos like this in Guatemala, in Chichicastenango. Very hard to pronounce. And William, do you mind reading this from our friend Eugene Bird?
Yeah, let's see. Eugene Bird says it's pronounced Tijuana, not Tijuana. Facepalm. Sorry.
So he misread the sign.
He's no, it's all right. I mean, I think it's pretty common, but yeah. So Tijuana. I mean, actually, Rod would probably know best. Tijuana, right, Rod?
Yeah.
Tijuana.
Ooh,
it's not Tijuana. Whereas the word for aunt is tia.
Yes.
But
yeah.
It's kind of lost in that, and that's why it's really peculiar. I never thought about that being an amalgamation of two words, and that being the name.
And uncle is Tio. Yeah, Tio.
Right.
Yes, good to have you here, Wes Cagle. Thanks for being here. And lots of Spanish
Tio and Tia
in your photos. Yep, exactly, Eugene.
Tia is auntie, Tio is uncle.
Yeah, with the O and the A. Like many words in Spanish and Italian, if it ends in an O, it's masculine. If it ends in an A, it's feminine. And this lady was making frigging delicious hamburgers. And oh my God, the hamburger in Central America, the beef is good. It's good beef. Hamburgers are popular. And the churches are beautiful as well.
Yeah, I can see why Latino Slant is angry over the LGBT group, the alphabet crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You
got that right, Dak Poet.
Latin, Hollywood. They want to make it Latinx instead of Latino.
Yes, yeah.
And no wonder. I totally understand him. Gets cheesed off at that because,
yeah, of course.
No, it's their language.
No, leave them alone.
That's exactly.
No,
it's their language is masculine and feminine. That there are only two in genders in their languages. And do you guys like sugar? Because Guatemala had a lot of candy.
Wow,
a lot of candy, folks.
Look at that.
Yeah, it was Christmas. This was the build up. This was a week before Christmas. Don't forget.
Nice.
See, there's some Christmas ornaments right there in the town square. Yeah, and this lady,
Wes Cagle asks you a question.
Did I get to visit any of the ruins of the Mayan Empire? Not sure if I got here too late to see any of that. West Cagle, yes. Tikal is probably the best Mayan site I've seen anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. Honestly, that is in Guatemala. I am going to do part 2 of Guatemala and have a separate section and do that. It's too much to do all in one show, so you didn't miss it. It's going to be in part 2. I'll show Coban and Tikal and Samak Shempe and sort of northeastern Guatemala. So right now we're doing central western Guatemala. But yeah, so this lady was selling popcorn and she just carrying it around on her head. I thought that was pretty.
That reminds me of
pretty cool.
Andre of Midnight's Edge. He thinks it's barbaric to butter popcorn.
What? Wow. Yep. No, the popcorn is the vehicle for me to stuff butter into my face. That's the only reason I want the popcorn. The popcorn is the medium for which to get the flavorings into my mouth.
Yeah, no, I mean it was just funny because Tom made a point of that, and and Andre's just like, you are murdering that popcorn. Just his reaction, because Over there,
It's
they just put flavor
yep,
dustings on them.
yep, yep. Of course, yeah.
There too, in Guatemala.
Ooh, yeah. They do. Lots of. Did I? No, I just saw popcorn with maybe butter and salt, and that's it. I didn't see a lot of it, to be
Mm.
honest, Rod.
Oh,
Carla
okay.
Burton says, "When are you going to start a travel channel, William Shake Skeletor?" I agree. You do have a channel. William Shake Skeletor does have a channel. I think.
I'll just hang out with you guys. I can't compete with this show. There's no way. I couldn't draw the audience.
Oh no, it's not a
And-
competition. It's a. We all float and rise
Yeah,
together. We build and support.
I'll just bring my content here. It's kind of a nice central place. Everybody knows.
Yeah. Oh, so
You know,
hey, you're welcome to any time, my friend.
Yeah.
You can put up
Yeah.
whatever you want here. And so this is graffiti in Guatemala, and I hope that they're being smartass. I hope that this graffiti artist can do better math than that. So yeah, this is Christmas time in Chichicastenango in central west highlands of Guatemala. And yeah, the 2 plus the 2, Jesus, it doesn't equal 5, buddy.
Huh.
Everyone knows 2 plus 2 is 3. Yeah, just gorgeous churches. Again, this is the backside of that church there. So you can see the domes kind of over the back end of it a little bit. So this is another angle of that same church.
Oh, nice.
Because I believe this is from the rooftop of my hostel that I'm staying at. Because I purposely search for hostels that have rooftop patios or rooftop access, some sort of communal rooftop area. And you can find them surprisingly. Okay, and here's in the daytime, here's the view from the rooftop of the cathedral. With again, I had a roofing business. I did roofing for a long time. Those clay tiles on that roof are heavy. Heavy. But they last forever. They last a lifetime. Oh, it's not a competition. No, I'd love to have anything you want to bring here, William. You please feel free.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be thrilled. Yeah, because eventually I'm gonna run out of countries. I've only got pictures from about 50 places. I mean, we do a show on artwork and do a show on maybe the souvenirs that I picked up, but really I've only got about 60 shows worth, so I think I'm already up to 30. But yeah, this is again from the rooftop of my hostel, and night is coming over the highlands of Guatemala. Yeah, love butter on popcorn. And Lemon Pie says, I don't like popcorn. Yes, I said it. I agree, Lemon Pie. I don't like popcorn. The only reason I would ever eat it is if it was crammed full of butter and flavorings, and I'd be basically eating the flavorings. Don't care about the popcorn. And thank you, William. Thank you.
Hey, I just looked it up. Avocado is good
Let's
for the
take it
skin,
then.
like rubbing on.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew I'd heard that somewhere.
Me too. Yeah.
Ooh. Rod, do you want to read this from our friend Carla Burton? That's exciting.
Yeah, sure. Carla Burton said, "I've been on, I've been on Google Maps, and you can oh, cool! You can explore Aztec ruins online by moving with an arrow."
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. And yes, there's William Shake Skeletor's channel. Please check it out. Give him a subscription. And Dak Poet says, yeah, I'd be interested in your travel channel, William, or put your travels on any channel. Yeah, absolutely. And we will advertise the heck out of it, and we'll try and get some people in here. If you want to do that, William, you just let me know. And it's not like, I don't plan far ahead, so it's not like I need a month's notice. There's no dairy and buttered popcorn, Carla Burton. Are you shitting me? Wow.
Do they have the special movie popcorn buckets in the theaters in Canada? Like the latest trend seems to be expensive movie popcorn, but souvenir buckets.
They did that with the cups, with the Coca-Cola cups as well.
Okay. Yeah, now they're doing it with various buckets. You see this, Rod? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Or
Right now,
the popcorn buckets.
yeah, popcorn. Like there's something that's regarding the movie, some big bucket. I know people in the chat. Some of you guys have gotten some of these things. I haven't. I don't go to theaters anymore. I don't like being in the theater
I
itself.
do.
But
I do, but it's more because um, my local my local cinema. They it's only 4 theaters, but like they usually have a pretty good selection, and it's also sorry, frog in the throat. Yeah. But yeah, no, like they're also pretty cheap. But unfortunately, they don't get the special cups anymore.
fancy stuff. It's just curious.
Yeah.
Some of them look pretty neat. I'm sure the prices
Yeah.
are pretty crazy, but that's some of those buckets look pretty nice. Any of you in the chat that got any of those, let us know what kind of crazy buckets you got. You know, like they have some for the recent Wolverine movie. I think they had
nice.
So anyway, just wondering if they have that in Canada.
Not as much as they used to. It was bigger in the 80s, wasn't it, Rod?
Yeah, and 90s, even early 2000s.
It's been a new thing that's come around again. Yeah. So I've noticed that. I mean, they're trying to do anything to get people back in the theater.
Of course, yeah.
So many of us have gotten used to watching movies at home that I'm not. Yeah. I'm not. I just feel very uncomfortable when I go into a theater, and I think it's because number one, I can't stop the movie. Number two, I want to go to the restroom. Number three, I want to get another drink. Number four, I want to get another drink. And
hang on a second, I'll go grab my cups. Actually, I do have some.
And this is good night, Molecular Arts. I want to say good night, and he says I'll add Guatemala to my bucket list. Thank you. You are welcome. And yeah, definitely, Guatemala is a beautiful place. It's got a lot of culture, food, and the ruins. When I show you part 2. Not only does it have beautiful lakes and volcanoes and mountains and avocado farms, but the Mayan ruins are pretty spectacular. So come back and see part 2. I'll do that in a couple of weeks. And this is a graveyard, actually, a Guatemalan graveyard. Lots of color. Certainly not a sad looking place. But I enjoyed just taking a photo of all the color at the graveyard.
Yeah, that's got to be the most happy graveyard I've ever seen.
Absolutely, man. It
looks like it's ready for a festival.
Exactly. I guess if you have to have a graveyard, that's a good place. And Dak Poet has a YouTube channel. That's fantastic. I wonder if I'm subscribed to Dak Poet. Let's find out if I'm subscribed to Dak Poet. I am not, but you know what? I am now. Thanks for putting that up there, West Kegel. They're awesome. Wrench, thank you. And yeah, good night, Molecular Arts. Thanks for being here. Government officials graffiti. Yeah, there's a lot of that in Central America. Ooh, what's that, Rod? What do you got?
Iron Man 3.
Ooh.
Shows all his suits.
Nice. Friggin'
that's cool. Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Oh,
not 84.
Cool.
The good Wonder Woman.
Yes, the good one. Nice. Yeah, the popcorn buckets aren't really a thing.
Oh, it's a Slurpee cup, and actually, so is Darth Vader.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
Friggin' A. That's awesome, Rod.
Boy, that one's from back in the day. What is that
awesome.
The second film or the third film?
Yeah, that was the third one.
The Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Oh, and that's awesome. Thanks.
Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that's a collector's item right there.
The tiles are called Tejas. Ooh.
Tejas.
And what? Hang on. There you go,
Transformers.
Rod.
Transformers.
Nice. Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, of course.
Collectible, although I didn't much care for the movie, but
not.
And Amazing Spider-Man.
Hell yeah! Although
the Amazing Canadian Spider-Man.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to get my movie. I'll bring my own suits.
Yeah.
And then another Slurpee cup.
Oh, okay. Didn't know you had more. Sorry, Rod. Here we go. Ooh, Transformers,
The
Optimus Prime.
The good Optimus Prime.
Hell yeah. That is fantastic, Rod.
I didn't like when Michael Bay sold out and then sold out to Western Star.
No. No.
And
Fast.
yeah. See, this is
tiles are called tejas. Okay.
yeah, Transformers 4. This is the one that Optimus swapped forms, and then he became a Western Star.
Yeah. Okay. Do they still make Western Star trucks, Rod?
Dude, you didn't know they're out in Vancouver. They're based out of Vancouver too.
Oh shit! No, I had no idea. No.
Yeah.
Exit solo. There we go.
Yeah, that's all my cups.
So, thanks, Rod, for sharing. Those are really impressive. So,
Yeah,
what
cool.
do you,
Very cool.
William? What do you think of? Do you know what this is?
I can't even come up with a joke or what the hell this thing is. No.
Does anyone?
It's a shower.
in the chat, Rod knows. That's a shower head. Why? What are we looking at, Rod?
That's a shower head, and and that's a water pipe.
Yep.
Is it heated or something? What's
heated.
with electronics?
It's heated at the shower head. Yes, that's why it's
Yeah,
wired.
that's
my
right.
God.
Yeah, that's a very slick system, man.
And where's the sign that says "Don't put your finger here"?
Exactly. There is none. I'm sure there's supposed to be a cover that goes on top of that. You
You
see
think?
this all over Central America. You see this in Thailand. You see this all over the world. And it's 220 volts, don't forget.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right, Eugene
my
Voltbird.
cold.
And I see two power wires. The two red wires are going there that are powering that thing. I don't see a grounding wire. I don't see a third wire going to that unit.
Why bother?
It's
just a
not
matter of time.
It's not grounded, folks. So so one of the backpackers that I made friends with, he was over 6 feet tall. He was probably 6'2", and he said when he's in the shower, he can feel the electric current on his head from the power on it. He can feel it. He swears to God, and he's freaked out by them. But yeah, you see this all over Central America. You see this in a lot of underdeveloped countries, folks. You just get used to it.
Or not.
Or not, I guess.
Grab a bucket of cold water and throw it up your head. Works fine, folks.
I guess.
Guarantee it works fine.
Oh, the tiles are called tejas. That's the roofing tiles that Eugene is saying. Okay, tejas. Thanks, Eugene. Tejas. I thought that was Spanish for titties.
It can be.
Yes, I guess. So yeah, this was this is a famous church in Chichicastenango. It's hard to say, folks. But yeah, beautiful church. And this was, like I said, just a week before Christmas. They love to celebrate Christmas in Central America and Mexico. Latin America loves to celebrate Christmas. They are, they're Catholic, religious, certainly compared to Canadians, yeah. Now, Daniel is now hungry for popcorn butter. Now, where is Hungry Boy? I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, or
look up the ingredients to the popcorn butter. No, I'm not going to look up the ingredients to the popcorn butter. Hell no, Carla. Hell no.
It has something to do with those pesticides we were talking about before.
Yeah, it is. It was a cemetery doc poet, as you know. Molecular Arts, good night. Miskatonic, yeah, I typed in Miskatonic accidentally. You're still here. Yeah, don't go anywhere, Miskatonic. We still have, we've got a few more. Not many, just a couple more. We're coming up on 2 hours. I think see, beautiful. They're decorating for the festivals, for Christmas, the outdoor markets. I love markets. The people watching their cheap here in North America, I don't know if it's the same where you are in Seattle. I suspect it is. But in British Columbia, markets 20 years ago used to be just country markets and they were cheap and they were good. But now, the last decade or so, they've become trendy, William. So the prices have gone up and markets are no longer really cheap. This market was.
Yeah, we don't have the few outdoor markets we have. Some of them are all year round, and most of them kind of spring up. They're seasonal, and they're not cheap. I wouldn't say they're expensive necessarily, but they're more than the grocery store for sure.
Yeah, because they're
Kind of
the
trendy. Exactly
they're
like you said.
trendy.
They're
Yeah,
trendy.
with
Yeah.
the yuppies and that. So this guy was selling peanuts. So he would fill up his wheelbarrow with peanuts and trays, and he'd go around selling bags of peanuts all day long. And that's it's a way to make a living. Everyone's just trying to do their thing. And these guys were good. They were the town little band, and they were all dressed up real snazzy, and they could play music. Holy shit! I've got a video somewhere of these guys playing, and I'll try and find it for part 2 of Guatemala when we do Tikal. Any videos that I find from Guatemala, I'll look at my master list, master drive, and try and find some of the videos. But,
I'm always impressed by Central American bands. They're so tight. I think they take it very, very seriously. It's a thing of pride beyond just their musicianship. They each of them amongst themselves, I believe, feel it's an absolute requirement to be really tight as a band, because every time you listen to these guys, as a musician myself, I'm just impressed with. I'm never not impressed with just about any mariachi or a band like that, whether or not they're playing mariachi music. You can tell those horn players. You got 4 of them that we're looking at on the right, a good couple of trombones on the left. There's probably more.
Yeah,
they have
the horns, man, the horns.
There's a couple of clarinets right in the middle. This band has to be uber tight just to be able to put the show together, and you know that they are. It's very impressive. Love it.
And they're snazzy. Their suits are cool.
Dressed so nice.
And Rod, do you mind?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask Rod if he wanted to read this from our friend West Kegel.
Yeah, West Kegel says, that graveyard looks pretty, but I'm sorry. I like my graveyards to be sad, solemn, and just a bit creepy. That's where I want to be buried.
True. And sorry, William, you were saying these guys are just out.
I was just adding to what you had mentioned, that I always love how they're so coordinated in their dress. It's just so awesome. It's the uniform. They're almost like uniforms, but that's not really the right term for this, of course. But I just love to see that, the coordination of their look and their style and their music. It all fits in. It's the greatest anytime to go to see a live mariachi band or Spanish Central American band is a night to remember.
Do you mind reading this from our friend Wes Kegel?
Wes Kegel says, Miskatonic Madman, Gal Gadot did a good job of portraying Wonder Woman within the confines of the stories that she had to work.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I like the first one. I don't think I actually saw any of the others, but I like the first film.
Yeah, I did like the first one. I had no desire to see the second one because it just seemed, not good.
The whole time travel, bringing Chris Pine back. Ugh.
Oh, is that what they did? I heard, was that 1984, the 1984 film?
Yep.
Was that
yes.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, I heard it was kind of. Yeah, there's not enough time to see the good stuff again and again and again, which I always tend to do anyway. So why would we want to watch garbage?
Exactly. And so this was a kind of a cool, typical Guatemalan police vehicle. They don't have cars. A lot of Central American police vehicles are the little pickup trucks. Makes sense.
Huh. And it says Quiche?
Yeah. I have no idea. That must have been a region in
okay.
Chichicastenango. Must have been a region. Yeah, it's not a city name that I recognize. Do you mind Googling Quiche, William, and see if that's a city in Guatemala? I've got the map
Working
here.
on it.
We can look for it, but
Give me
it's
a
not
sec.
a city that I recognize that I would have. But I mean, the cop car says it, so who knows? And there's the church again. And in the evening, that's that same market in the evening. And piñatas. That Spider-Man looks pretty bad. That's a bad looking Spidey. and candy.
Okay, I found Quiche, so whenever you're ready.
Oh yes, quiche.
So there are three things. The thing that this is probably referring to is the Department of Quiche. So there's the accent is on the last letter.
Okay.
A department in the Western Highlands of Guatemala, but it also refers to the Quiche people, an indigenous Mayan ethnic group, and the Quiche language. And in that case, it's spelled differently. It's K apostrophe ICHE with the accent on the end there. So
now I'm hungry for quiche.
Yeah, right. Now we're hungry for breakfast.
I know, right? And I like this. I just had to take a picture of this Old Friend whiskey. That's a good name for a whiskey, Old Friend. Just gonna go see an old friend. Spending time with an old friend.
Hey, me and my buddies.
Got an old friend coming on over.
Yeah, that's right.
You got a bunch of friends here tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. I had an old friend sleep in my bed last night. Oops.
That's right.
Yeah, lots of sugar and candy. Oh my God. The Guatemalan people, I'm sorry. Please stop drinking Coca-Cola and soda pops. Please, for your health, stop drinking soda pops and stop eating the amount of sugar that you do. It's crazy. These people are.
Listen to Wilfred Brimley.
Diabetes. Yes, they're headed for a bad. It's not good. In restaurants, I noticed no one was drinking water. Even the children, even the small children, the small children, they were not drinking water. They were all drinking soda pop. Terrible. And their bodies look like they've been eating sugar and soda pop too. Sorry to say. Yeah, see, guys, come on, you got to stop doing that. But anyway, yeah. Oh, here's my attempt at an artistic shot with a full moon. I don't know why, but I seem to always have full moons in churches.
Nice.
Churches with full moons. Yeah, I don't know. Live on the edge, shower in steel toe boots, says William Shake Skeletor. That's awesome.
Interestingly, I never had a taste for pop, and to be honest, and honestly,
really.
I was actually, I was more fired up than I should be when the school, when my local school got a pop machine.
Yeah, it's not. I used to like Hires root beer. Was my one weakness, I guess, or Orange Crush, Orange Crush and Hires root beer. Oh. Yeah.
I'm a big A&W root beer fan.
A&W in the glass mugs.
Oh, totally.
Do you mind reading this from our friend Wes Cagle?
Wes Cagle says, third ground, meh. Third ground, meh. Who needs safety when water and electricity is involved? You Americans are sissies.
Yep, that's right. And yeah, actually, Carla Burton has a good idea. Shower in rubber Crocs. I don't know if that'll help, but so this is that same church, and no, they're not burning it down like Canadian churches recently. No. This is not a Jewish synagogue under attack. This is prayer candles, and this lady to the right, she seemed to be an indigenous lady. What do you think she's doing there, gentlemen?
Religious, not
praying?
a sacrifice, but praying.
But on the right hand side, she's got something in her hand.
Is that smoke? Would there be smoke in there? And
Yeah.
Is she
I don't know what
smudging?
that's called though.
Yes, and yes.
She's smudging.
Is that
Yeah,
what it's called?
yeah. With
Like the monks would move the smoke around and
in
or
the
swing the smoke.
containers.
Yeah, swing it around so it
That's
moves
it.
around.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool shot.
I'm actually going to a pipe ceremony on Saturday night.
Do they smoke
Yes.
weed at those things, Rod?
No.
Maybe.
It's just tobacco.
Okay.
The best
cool.
tasting tobacco, though.
Do you need
will
to be
say,
invited?
'cause it's grown. Yeah, kind of.
It's pretty. Yeah, that's awesome, Rod.
Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
if it's an open, if it's what they call an open ceremony, then yeah. But other times, other times, family. It's just for a certain person or family members.
Okay.
But in which case they would say, no, it's private. But I mean, if they were, but if it's an open ceremony, then yeah. In fact, I'm taking my buddy Dusty and Lisa.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have to give you a full report on that one.
Yeah, please do, Rod. That's it. The quiche police. Yes. There's not enough eggs in your quiche. You're under arrest. Lots of quiche to gather and destroy. Yes. Okay. The quiche are an invasive species to Guatemala, and they're hunting them down and killing all the quiche. Yes, that's exactly. Pike's Place, Dak Poet, is it's a famous market in Seattle, a gorgeous market in Seattle.
Hey, Wes Kegel just makes a good point.
Yes. Where's that?
Electric currents clean the hair.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and highlight. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because that's another thing. I mean, like, because when I was in Cuba, well, I mean, if you didn't know, Cuba or Coca-Cola was kicked out of Cuba.
Oh, right. Yes, you mentioned something like that. Yes.
So, like, it's just something or other cola, and but like, oh my God, is it good? Better than Coke, I think.
Do you mind reading Wes Kegel's?
Wes
on
Kegel
that very
says,
topic.
Yeah, Wes Kegel points out that at least all the soda south of the Mexican-United States border is made with real sugar, not high fructose corn syrup. The crap that they're poisoning us with here in the States. Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
You're right, Wes Kegel. At least it was, although they do drink a lot of soda pop, it is made with real cane sugar. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, exactly.
The original spelling of quiche is quiche. Oh, thanks, William. That's awesome.
Huh, wow.
Diabetes popular in Guatemala. Yes, I've heard that it is increasing at an alarming rate. Lemon pie obesity and diabetes is on the huge upcrease in Central America in general. Yeah, and the water is probably contaminated. Yeah, well, yeah, probably. William Shakespeare, do you mind reading what you've wrote here?
Sure. This is from a request from Wes Kegel, who asked, I can't find it, but he said, ¿Qué idiomas hablan en Guatemala? And so I looked that up so he's asking what languages are spoken there. I looked it up, and it's these.
Oh,
and there's
wow.
actually there's a few others that are really indigenous languages. I didn't feel like and they have bizarre spellings. There were Mayan languages. There's I'll say them though. Quiche, oh boy, Cachikel, Kekchi. These are hard. Mom and Pocom. These are hard. Boy, I can't even pronounce this last one. TZ-UTUJIL.
Oh yeah, no.
Boy,
no
that's
way.
That's just out there. So, yeah, a handful. And they say English. They say, this is the thing that kind of annoys me. they'll make these claims. Wikipedia and wherever else will make these claims about how much English is spoken. It's not true. It's a lie.
Oh, really?
I went to when I went to Panama. They claimed that between 15 and 18% of the population spoke English. No
bullshit. No way.
Not.
Maybe at tourist destinations.
Yeah, the only place that spoke English were the maitre d's at the hotels we stayed in.
People that interact with tourists. Yeah, taxi drivers that are trying to sell you.
No taxi drivers. Nobody at the bars and clubs. Nobody in the taxis. Nobody at the restaurants. None.
Huh.
So just be wary.
Idiomas is languages in Spanish?
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Idiomas.
You could also use the word linguist, I believe.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, hanging out with an old friend. You got it.
Hey, no, Dak Post. I went after this. See, when Fidel took over in 1959, he kicked out all the American corporations, including Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And all the gas and fuel companies. So,
yep, right.
Yeah, and so because Coke represents capitalism too.
Of course.
Yeah,
that makes sense, Rod. So this is the last photo, and I just took this because this was an indigenous fella from the highlands, and obviously he's a farm laborer, or he just carries a machete because it's a tool. Like around here, I have a knife on my hip all the time. I've got a 3-4 inch knife all the time on my belt. I guess he just carries that around the markets and around town. Just bring it into town with you. Why not? He was just shopping. See, when he negotiates with that guy, he's going to buy a watch there. He's going to negotiate with the machete. It's a good negotiating tactic in a market, I think. But yeah, there you go. That's all the photos, folks. So I'll do a part 2 of Guatemala, and we'll show the Mayan ruins of Tikal in the north and Coban in the east, and we'll show the jungles of Guatemala. This was more the central highlands and the lakes of Lake Atitlan and the volcanoes. So thanks for being here, to Rod and William Shake Skeletor. Thank you both very much.
Yeah, no, not a problem, man. My pleasure.
Always a lot of fun.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Guatemala. I highly recommend it. It's got culture. It's not like Mexico. I mean, there are similarities in the people, I guess, in the way they look, maybe, but they're not the same culture at all. The food is they've got some similarities, but pretty differences as well. And they've got what was this? I'll bring it up right now. But yeah, I highly recommend the food in Guatemala. It's good.
Seeing your travel pictures, I've really got to say though, like, good Lord, there's so much awesome color down there. Like,
there really is, Rob.
Yes, there is.
I mean, like, man, Canada and United States are just dull.
Boring.
Well, I don't know.
Certain places are.
Yes.
A lot of it is. Maybe certain places are not, but a lot of places in America are just the damn same everywhere, right? With
Here it is.
Some exceptions.
Rod, this is the one I wanted to read to you. It's a dessert in Guatemala. It's popular. It's a rum syrup cake. It's called pastel borracho. Now borracho.
That means drunk.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Yep.
So drunk cake.
Drunk cake.
Pastel borracho, rum syrup cake. It's popular in Guatemala.
Borracho.
I'm going to make myself big here just for a second. Yeah, William, you're right. I do recognize that word.
We're going to make some of this right now. Some borracho cake.
I wish. No, this is the Lonely Planet, Central America on a shoestring. It's got all the countries. Highly recommended it. Highly recommend that. If your phone goes down, you've still got this, and you can smash bugs with this and without breaking it. The Lonely Planet guidebook is always useful, and they leave the last page blank for you to take notes or, in a pinch, roll doobies with. And so, as promised, here is the money, and this is Banco de Guatemala in Quetzal, 1 Quetzal. This is their one. Well, we call them dollars, but they call them quetzals. 1 Quetzal. And this little clear window up here is, you can see, that's a security measure, I guess. And there's the Guatemalan flag, the blue and the white right down there.
Notice that.
Yeah, that's 1
Hey,
Quetzal.
have you noticed that? Everybody, well, Canada too, but every country out there has taken steps to, like, to prevent,
This is 5. Counterfeit.
Yeah, counterfeit. That's the word I was looking for. Look at that. Like that's amazing. That's right up there with our. That's right up there with our.
And this bird. Do you see the bird?
Yeah.
This bird here.
Yeah. That's the
Quetzalcoatl. That's a Quetzalcoatl legendary bird. Well, but they're real. I
was going to say a Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like I'm hacking on United States, but on the other side of the coin, it's almost like they want to be counterfeited.
Counterfeited, yeah. Well, maybe. Sounds like we should do a stream on that, Rod. So there's
on counterfeiting money.
Why not? And the banking industry in general, why the fuck not?
Did you hear? By the way, did you hear the TD Bank of Canada?
Yes.
Holy crap, eh?
Yep.
$3 billion. Jeez.
Largest criminal fine in American banking history for basically every shitty practice you can imagine. And they pled guilty and they're paying it, and they're submitting to new regulatory, like they're going to get taken through the ringer. After this, they might be the cleanest bank around because they're going to get fucking cleared out. And rightfully so.
Well, I don't know if you've ever watched Internet Today.
A little bit. Yes, Wes Kegel, you're correct. I've watched a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, and they reported on that. And oh man, they just had so many good takes on the news. About the Bank of Canada. They talked for damn near 20 minutes on that.
Oh wow, okay. That's a big thing. Don't forget your towel. That's South Park parroted. You're darn right. Drunk cake. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for being here, Lemon and Dak and Parrothead and William and Wes Kegel.
You must have heard about Trudeau then too, eh?
I did. Yeah. He's gonna call an election, man. His own party is gonna throw him under the bus, and the only way to avoid that, I think he's gonna call an election. My personal hunch. It's his personal only way out. But anyway, Wes Kegel's is Spider-Man in part 2.
Four more people, making a total of 6 liberals left this party.
Yes, that's crazy. Well, I'm surprised it's that few, to be honest, Rod. Yeah. They know their time is up. They're done. He's the Titanic, and Wes Kegel says Canadian Spider-Man part 2 of this Guatemala show, which will be done in a few weeks, probably 4. Not only talk about Mayan ruins, but we touch on the Pacific side beach destinations of Guatemala. Not sure if you got to visit that area. I did not, Wes Kegel. No, I did not. I headed south because I'm not much of a surfer. I know that they're really popular with surfing, But I didn't get a chance to go up that far in it's Pacific Mexico. Yes, absolutely. But no, not in Guatemala. I didn't go too much further. I mean, Lake Atitlan is pretty far west. But no, I didn't go to the beach destinations. So I'll just do the jungle destinations and the Mayan temples, and the Caribbean side. But no, I didn't go over to the Pacific side. But, yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, not South Park. Don't forget a towel. Oh, maybe that's where South Park got it from. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Towley. Interesting. And yeah, thanks. Thanks for being here, Wes Cagle. So, Rod, is there any final words on Guatemala or Central America in general?
Don't really have anything further to say, but I really want to go there now.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man. The volcanoes alone, the volcanoes alone. I'll just I'll leave you with that photo. I love that photo, folks. And William Shake Skeletor. I love that name. Yeah, two weeks before Halloween, folks. Do you have any final thoughts on Guatemala or any of the photos we looked at tonight?
No, just I want to go visit too. It definitely a very appealing looking place. It looks like it's safe, and
absolutely safe.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's concerning me right now. Ecuador, as I've had my eye on to go visit in the very near future, but it's very unstable now, and it became unstable very quickly. So,
wow,
yeah,
that's too bad. I love Ecuador.
Yeah, and politically unstable, and the crime has just escalated extremely fast and rapidly.
Shit!
This is a narcotic. This is a drug lord crime. So,
right.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe I'll switch gears. I've kind of put it on the back burner, but maybe I'll look at Guatemala instead.
Guatemala is gorgeous. I had a good time, and I felt it's very family orientated and religious and very safe. I thought. And the currency lemon pie says he's named after the quetzal, which is the bird. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. And dude that has his shite together always knows where his towel is. You're right. You got that right, Wes Cagle. Dark Helmet, who I made you moderator, Dark Helmet, but there's no pressure there, no obligations. Says, I'm that reader that hasn't left my home state since 2000, let alone never left the country. Well, you can feel free to watch the photos and travel with us on every Thursday night.
Don't the newest moderators have to do bathroom duty for a couple of weeks, Spidey?
Oh, yes. That Dark Helmet. Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
You're
bathroom duty.
Bathroom duty for 2 weeks. Yeah, just that's part of it, though. Hello. Good to see you guys. Good to see everyone. And I travel through everyone else. Well, awesome. Thanks for being here, Dark Helmet. Yeah, we're just looking at some of the gorgeous photos of Guatemala. This is Lake Atitlan in the west highlands, central west. Anyway, folks, and I love their street art. This has been the show. This has been Guatemala. Thanks for being here, folks. And we're going to end the stream now. Have a good night. See you next Thursday. Next Thursday?
Yeah.
What's next Thursday? Next Thursday, I'm doing Honduras with Eugene Bird. I think, if Eugene's free. We're going to try and do that next Thursday. All right. Good night.